Calling to order the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of Golden Rain Foundation of Laguna Woods, California Nonprofit Mutual Benefit Corporation, Tuesday, September 2nd. Can you believe it? 9:31 in the morning, and we are in the boardroom of the Community Center. Purpose of this meeting is to conduct the regular GRF board meeting in accordance with Civil Code 4930 and was hereby noticed in accordance with Civil Code 4929. At this point, we have a quorum present, and we shall proceed with Steve Leonard leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is anyone from the media present other than the eye in the sky? Okay, guess not. Approval of agenda is the next item. I would amend it to skip item 14, which is the recitation of the reports from committee meetings. Because of our loaded agenda today, those minutes are in writing in the package if anyone wants to read about past committee meetings. They're also online. So do I have, with that amendment, do I have a motion to a second? All right, the motion is to amend the meetings to skip item 14, otherwise we will approve. Hearing no objections, approved as amended. Okay, so moved. All right, approval of minutes of past meetings, August 5th, GRF Board Regular Open, and August 21st, a board prep meeting for this meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay, a second. All right. Motion has been made and seconded that we approve the meeting minutes from the August 25th and August 21st meetings. Okay, all in favor? Anyone against? Okay, it is so moved. Thank you. Report of the chair. This morning, we'll see on the agenda a number of things listed under new businesses, RFPs, RFP. RFP stands for Request for Proposal. And these are proposals that come from contractors and professionals for projects that we're considering. Because of the budget demands that GRF faces in the next few years, we are looking for cost efficiencies wherever they make sense. RFPs are going out for the ones that you see listed on the agenda, plus there'll be one for the Equestrian Center, for a gate automation pilot program, and probably others where the costs are high and the revenues are low. An RFP is a detailed document that spells out what we need, gives specifications and scope of work, and a timeline for doing the job. But it does not show the budget. GRF committees identify a project and upon agreement to proceed, then direct staff to write up the RFP. The call for proposals goes out to the appropriate lists and websites where potential bidders can see it. An RFP may get many or just a few responses and sometimes none. Responses can bring in a significant range of prices to do the same job. It's very interesting. And approaches to doing it. Bidders receive the same specs, but they never see a price that we might have allocated for a project. Not every RFP gets viable bids. Not every RFP results in funding the project, but we don't know what's feasible until we get bids on the same set of specifications, analyze them for their cost and for their benefit to the community. It's an iterative, systematic exercise in getting competitive results at the best price. So stand by for more developments in these RFPs. It's not a mystery. It just takes time and work to get the proposals in. But very important, something much happier, is that consider buying your tickets for the Unity Festival right now. On September 30th, this is going to be a wonderful event at Clubhouse 2. It's a sponsored first for United, for third for GRF, for Mutual 50. And it's on September 30th, Clubhouse 2. and you're going to be wowed by the live entertainment, the 4 different food trucks offering tastings of ethnic dishes, and a chance to share in our beautiful community life. So bring family, bring friends. Y'all come to it and get your tickets in the administrative office at Clubhouse 2. That's the only place you can get the tickets, $20 each. And it's great value because you're going to have plenty to eat and plenty to have in the way of entertainment for that evening. So that concludes my chair's remarks. Report from the CEO.
Good morning, and thank you. This morning, I have a brief presentation. I know we have a busy schedule, and I want to start with updates on emergency preparedness, since September is National Preparedness Month. Notably, I want to start with wildlife preservation, or preparedness flyers, that now are available in multiple languages. As you can see on your screen, there is a new flyer, and it outlines the essential components of being ready for a wildfire. But most importantly, this safety information is now available in Chinese, English, Farsi, Korean, and Spanish. And we want everyone to be prepared with the latest wildfire tips. To find each version, you can go to the village website under Services, Security Services, Important Documents. We also want to mention that the community is upgrading from Code Red, which is the emergency notification system that you're used to a new system called Everbridge Emergency Notification System. The benefits include multi-channel communication. This allows us to send messages simultaneously via text message, email, voice calls, and social media to ensure a wider reach and consistent messaging. It also has an intuitive platform and provides mobile accessibility. What does this mean for our residents? If you're already enrolled in Code Red through VMS, nothing is needed from you. Your contact information is automatically transferred to the new system. There's no action needed to continue to receive these important emergency alerts. To verify or update your information, you can visit the resident portal at lagunawoodsvillage.com, resident login, to update communication preferences, or you may contact resident services. Similarly, if you are not enrolled, please either contact resident services or use the new resident portal to enroll. There's also a Good Neighbor Captain meeting scheduled at Clubhouse 2 on Tuesday, October 7th from 10 a.m. to noon. This is hosted by our Security Services Department, and there's a registration form available on the website. The Good Neighbor Captain program is designed to build community resilience by empowering residents to look out for one another during emergencies. For more information about the program, please email disasterprep@vmsinc.org or call 949-597-4237. Switching gears, there's a new way to share your feedback with VMS. It's the Village Survey. The VMS board is introducing an online resident satisfaction survey that makes it easier to share thoughts and experiences year-round. The short survey replaces the once-a-year format that was previously used and can be filled out anytime. The survey is anonymous, requires no login or resident ID, and works on any device. It's available in English and other languages through Google Translate. To access the survey, visit the village website, click on the purple Contact Us button in the top menu bar, and select Resident Services under We Want to Hear From You. Responses will be regularly reviewed with key trends reported to the VMS Board of Directors and Executive Leadership. Resident input helps us identify what's working well and where improvements are needed. Today marks an exciting new milestone in the ERP project implementation with the accounts payable automation invoice processing system being launched. This initiative brings immediate structure, efficiency, and accountability to one of our most essential financial processes by delivering electronic approvals with real-time status tracking, automated workflows that reduce manual effort and error, and centralized reporting dashboards for instant visibility into the accounts payable activity. In terms of the high-speed fiber project, Ting has started beta installations to test the overall installation processes, including communication, pre-wire building, install timing, and Wi-Fi quality. Planning for 31 units is complete, of which 12 have been installed successfully to date. The beta installs have been successful. Preliminary speeds of up to 2,100 megabits per second have been realized. The Ting team will make adjustments from learnings prior to moving into full installs later this month, including pre-wiring all buildings and sizing crews to ensure 50-plus installs can be completed daily. Lastly, a reminder that residents may join the VMS team. Whether you're looking for a full-time or a part-time role, VMS has existing positions open here in Laguna Woods Village. If you're interested, visit lagunawoodsvillage.com and look for the careers page and click Join Our Team to explore all open positions at VMS. Among featured jobs include social worker, senior accountant, and customer service representative. And that concludes my update this morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, this time we have our open forum, 3 minutes per speaker. Members only may address the board regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors. We reserve the right to limit the total amount of time allotted for open forum to 30 minutes, and maybe we will exceed it today. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speakers may not give their time to other people. No audio or video recording by attendees. No rude or threatening comments. And members can attend the meeting by joining Zoom or calling into the standard number or by emailing meeting@vms.org to have your message read. And we have some speakers starting, I believe, with Juanita Skillman.
Yes, correct.
Juanita is our representative on the VMS board. One of them.
One of them.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here today as your VMS cheerleader. I want to invite all of you to our meeting tomorrow. It's really important that you, who the directors are our members at VMS. And the only way that you really know what's going on with VMS, and that's with your staff, things that are happening in the village, besides which all the wonderful things our CEO tells us each meeting, you need to come to those meetings. You're welcome at the open meeting. Some of the things that we're going to be discussing tomorrow is comparative information on open positions. And that's something that I get a lot of questions on. You probably do too. And this will go over the recruiting vacancies, the employee turnover, the reasons for resignations, the recruiting vacancies by department, and resident employment. We're also going to be looking at an overview of the non-union employee health insurance. We take care of our employees here, and this is one of the things that's very important. A great deal of our budget goes to salaries and that's because we're a service organization. You can't have service without employees. So we want to be sure that we're taking care of those. Something that all of you who are interested in landscaping are going to be interested in is a result of the tree failure assessment from Kurt Wyman, our director in landscaping, that has been taking place. There were some dying trees near laundry rooms, and he's going to give us an update on that. And then, of course, we have our strategic plan update. Now, I'm not sure you all know, but yes, VMS has a strategic plan. They have a detailed strategic plan with milestones, and at every monthly meeting, we get an update on where we stand, what we're doing, who's in charge, who's doing it, and what the completion dates are. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, please come. We also get a KPI update on our things that are happening with each of the different departments. So it's worth your while to take that extra hour or so on the first Wednesday of the month, tomorrow morning. Please come and see us at VMS. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Next speaker is Carmen Pacella.
Michaela, maybe you want to read like 3 in a row if there are.
Yeah, sure. There's a handful.
number.
So the following after Carmen is Sherry Hawkbrook.
Thank you.
Okay, am I ready? Thank you very much. My name is Carmen Pacella, 65E. I want to thank all the volunteers, the directors that do all this hard work. You are all invited to a village-wide town hall on September 15th at the PAC at 10 a.m., and it's open to everybody, all residents, all boards, all board of directors. We had a good meeting in June, and everything went fine, and it was very productive and enjoyable, so we hope everyone comes back. But the reason I'm here, another reason I'm here today, is specifically for the History Center. I'm making a small presentation about the History Center and to bring awareness to the village that the History Center is a nonprofit 501c3, and it's a public archive dedicated to collecting, conserving, and conveying the history of Laguna Woods Village in the city of Laguna Woods, and also for Orange County. A lot of people don't realize that, but it's not just the village. This is an Orange County Historical Society. So the History Center is located in right next to the library, and it's open from 11 to 1 during the week, and it's also open by invitation only if you wish to come to that. Now, their operating goal for that center is to collect, conserve, and convey. That's their goal. And I chose to represent the conserve portion of what they do. And that has to do with the archiving and all of the products that they use to store historical documents within that facility. If you haven't been there, you need to go because it's really worth seeing. I stopped there 5 years ago looking at the archive, and I noticed all the materials were acid-free, lignin-free materials that they use for their envelopes and their file folders that protect everything. And for 20 years, that was my business. I worked in the photographic business and helped with the production of fine art photographic papers and storage. The best customers were Ansel Adams and Brett Weston, Bruce Barnbaum, and all those people. And I got to work with all of them for many years. And it was really nice to see that everything that we did is taking place in the History Center here. So please come to the History Center. Also come to our village-wide town hall. Thank you very much.
Next. Thank you, Carmen.
Next speaker is Sherry Hawkbrook, and the following two speakers are Jim Ropo and then Mark Brenner.
Okay, I just got a new last name. It's Holbrook.
Thank you. I apologize. Thank you.
That's all right. That's right. 69 Calle Aragon. And, okay, I want to say that Laguna Hills, Laguna Woods Village here is a fabulous 55 and over community. It's got everything, except one thing. It doesn't have a fenced-in dog park for our communities. Now, we've been to many, my group and I have been to many town hall meetings. The coyote issue goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. My proposal, and it's just a proposal, is that we provide small, fenced-in dog park areas, and I've seen this before. I happen to live in Sun City half-time. There they provide little fenced-in dog parks. We have tons of coyotes in Sun City, but they never bother us. The dog parks there provide shade, water, benches, poop bags, everything you need for a cute little dog park area. The best thing it provides is community. Now, you and I all know that we have a lot of elderly people here. They're isolated. They don't even get out of their homes. They can't even drive. They cannot drive to that dog park, which is the city dog park, which is pathetic, to be honest. Our proposal is to just provide, we've got tons of space here. Our proposal, and we're going to the dog club, and we've gone to town meetings, and we've done a variety of jumping through hoops. Our proposal, and I happen to have an attachment here, I can pass it around to people. There's one specific, I got 1 minute. This is interesting. There's one specific cute little grass area by clubhouse number 2. Now, I swim in that pool daily. There's a cute little grass area that it divides the pool from the grass area, and it's fenced in. All we need is two other fences, and there is an enclosed dog park where people can walk to it. You can close the gate, and your little dog can run around free. Something like that is about 10 grand. And believe it or not, I've got tons of people who would pay for it. So, GRF, there's your solution. A fenced-in dog area, no more coyote issues. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker is Jim Ropo, and then following two are Doug Gibson and Ruth Brenner.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm a little confused. For years, I have listened to the GRF and the United board meetings, and I have heard many directors say the work is done at the committee level. Committees recommend, and the board decides. Well, I was at the May Mobility and Vehicle Committee meeting, and then I was at the next quarterly meeting, which was just here in August a few weeks ago. None of the changes that came out last Friday regarding the bus system were ever discussed at those two committee meetings, nor was a vote taken by the directors at those meetings. So I'm a little concerned that all of a sudden it shows up in What's Up in the Village on a Friday afternoon. This doesn't seem to be the way we do business in the village. I also want to tell you, President Bach, that many of our residents who ride the bus do not believe that this is a temporary decision, nor that it had anything to do with a shortage of bus drivers. And I'll give you 3 reasons why people feel that way. Number one, a number of the bus drivers are part-time, and they would be more than willing to increase their time to cover any shortage of somebody on medical leave. Number 2, recently, one of your best bus drivers, who was part-time, was moved into the transportation office into a full-time position. And thirdly, we have at least 4 people, I believe, that work in the transportation office who have ample experience as bus drivers and could help out in a pinch. These changes are detrimental to our vulnerable population, and that's the people, some of them who you see here today. Let's try to be adults about things and say that this is about cutting costs, not about temporary loss of a couple of drivers. We're all adults. Let's try to treat each other as adults. At the June board meeting of GRF, then President Bada said, "We will make the program better, or we will keep it the same. We will not make it worse." I think you have made it worse. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mark Brenner, and the following two is Doug Gibson and then Ruth Brenner.
Good morning, Mark Brenner, 5111 Miambro. I have issues with the proposed new gate system for gates 11 and 14. I have 3 points. First, code issues. Having lived in other HOA communities with a keypad system. We experience problems with the code number being easily shared with non-residents. This got to be a major problem, and one of the communities went to a guarded system with an RFD system. In addition to that, how will non-residents gain access, particularly not your UPS drivers, but the independent people who use their cars, like DoorDash or even the occasional drivers for UPS or FedEx? How will taxi drivers, Uber and Lyft, gain access? Furthermore, what about gate breakdowns? Will there be 24/7 people available to staff the gates, or will they be left open, unattended, while we're waiting for repairs? Finally, what about access for walkers? Will there be a separate gate for walkers? Have you considered the cost for walkers? And even if you put in a separate gate for walkers, what about people walking around the lift arm? I think that's a significant security problem. Finally, I'm concerned about the costs. I've calculated that it's going to take over 5 years to recover the cost as currently proposed. And if you add an additional gate for walkers, that's probably going to add another 2 years. Is this really worthwhile? Thank you.
Next speaker is Doug Gibson, and the following two will be Ruth Brenner and then James Jones.
Good morning, Sloan. Board members, thank you for all the time and effort that you put into this and everything else. My wife Lori and I have lived here for 20 years in Gate 11, and we've actually done the Gate 5 and 6 at one time too. About a week ago, a neighborhood watch captain, disaster captain in Gate 11, contacted me via email and asked me if I was aware of a new gate access code system that's being introduced. And somewhat knowledgeable, and I had not heard anything one way or the other on it, although I thought I heard maybe a rumor or something like that. Apparently, he said that the GRF board was wanting to set up an experimental program in Gate 11 and Gate 14, some type of a budget over $800,000. By Friday the 29th of last week, I reread the letter from the editor to the editor of the Globe, and also last Thursday's top front page situation there. And what was told to me by my friend and what was in the paper last week, they weren't consistent informations, unfortunately. Wednesday a.m.'s GRF Committee Security Gate Access meeting. During that period of time, which I attended, I didn't speak at it, but the residents made 3 or 4 comments on personal statements that they were interested in, but they also made something just as a blurb about the gate access. There was no comment, no answers, no recognition, no chair comments or anything else concerning gate access. And personally, I was there to try to find out for Gate 11 and otherwise why this was happening. Other gate captains, some neighbors, and the two current third board members I contacted. The third board member, as I understand it, had heard about the access program about 3 weeks ago. That's my interpretation, but from what I was told. And they had conveyed to this board that the gate, or the third mutual, was not interested in this gate aspect program, as I understood it. Currently, these are tough social, economic times that we're all living in. The United Board, GRF, the third board, VMS staff, you're all putting a lot of time and effort into the budget process and controlling costs. This is not the time, nor can we afford to set off controversial new program like this. And what I'm really asking for is that you cancel this, put it on the back burner if necessary, but it's not necessary to take forward on this and that. So thank you very much for your time and effort.
Thank you. Next speaker is Ruth Brenner, and then following two will be James Jones and then Chris Collins.
Good morning. Thank you for listening to me, letting me be here. I'm talking about the issue of eliminating manned guards. I'm opposed. A coded gate system will present problems of its own. Security. Anybody can tailgate a resident into the community. We've lived in communities where this occurs frequently. Gates frequently break. They have many maintenance issues. If there are both enter and exit gates, there are twice as many moving parts to repair. Our last HOA community we lived in another state had the newest gate movement equipment. The gates were constantly breaking, constantly down to one gate for both enter and exit, waiting for parts. It's a real problem. What is the backup plan if gates break? There are costs to install as well as maintain gates. Has a feasibility study been done to determine if going with gates rather than man guards is really the best way to go? And then there's the issue of codes, which are handed from guest to guest, delivery drivers, construction workers, maintenance people, repair people, all going all over the community. At gates 11 and 14, cars can easily wait for access to an unmanned community, and removing a guard from gate 11 in particular, which is very isolated, leaves the community very insecure. Prior communities where we have lived, where there is a tailgating problem, several of the communities have eliminated their gates and gone to a manned guard system and felt it was much more secure. In summary, the Laguna Village community should be notified. There should be a discussion prior to making a change like this. Thank you for your time.
Paul, excuse me. There seems to be a speaker coverage problem. That it's louder in that side of the room. We're having a little difficulty hearing these speakers.
I can turn up the speaking volume just a bit.
Direction?
Yeah,
If you
I
could.
can't move it directionally, but I can definitely turn the volume up
If
in
you
general.
could.
Sure. Okay, next speaker is James Jones, and then the following two will be Chris Collins and then Steve Saman.
Good morning. How we doing? You find a parking space this morning? You know we have a parking problem? Pardon me, I get choked up thinking about it. I live at 267C. Outside of my house are 12 parking spaces. 8 of them are known as long-term permanent storage because the residents every 3 days do the ballet of cars like this because this place was not designed for 2-car families. We have a problem. There's no easy solution, but by clubhouse number 1, there are 66 parking spaces. By clubhouse number 3, there's 188 parking spaces. When those things were striped for parking, somebody did it so you could parallel park an 18-wheeler in each space. If they were restriped, the one by number 1, we could have close to 200 parking spaces. By clubhouse number 3, nearly 400. Now, you say to me, but those are required for events. I did some research. Typically, events take up 12 hours a year for parking. There are 8,760 hours in a year. Last count, not including leap years. To set aside that much parking for 16 hours is ludicrous. It's not a permanent solution, but it's a need. We need to restripe those so we could park that many. And the biggie, you've got to change the regulations about abandoned vehicles. You have to make it so in those designated areas, it's okay to park for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, some number. And you'll say, well, what about my second car? It's parked down yonder. Well, you got a first car, you could drive down there and get it. Okay? Let's try at least have some easy solution to get us over this. Every time you go on the internet, what's the number one gripe? Lack of parking. And we know it is. So, restripe, change the rules. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good day.
Next speaker is Chris Collins, and then following two will be Steve Saman and then Annie Funk.
Hi, Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here with an update on the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, which we do on behalf of those who are residents who are experiencing temporary financial emergency. Bring a friend and make a friend, the 2025 Good Neighbor Projects. Foundation of Laguna Woods is proud to announce that 10 clubs have been selected to host special Good Neighbor programs this coming September in honor of National Good Neighbor Day. Given the success of last year's Good Neighbor project, the foundation decided to repeat the effort to strengthen the sense of community here in the village. A sense of community develops in different ways, but the surest way is social interaction. For example, sharing experiences, making connections, discussing issues, and solving problems. The effects of the disruption and the isolation caused by the pandemic still linger, and social interaction needs to be strengthened, and particularly as we age. So the 10 club projects selected are all different audiences, activities, and purposes. And to illustrate, one involves bread baking, one is targeted to game players, one is focused on golf to build community ties, one is a sing-along with ice cream, while one appeal is to cat lovers, and another creates pet portraits. Specially designated bequest funds are providing the project seed money, and all the activities will take place this September to celebrate National Good Neighbor Day, which was actually on the 28th of September. So the hope is that everyone will find an activity or activities that suit them. So bring a friend, make a friend, and be a community. Find the activity or activities this September that will appeal to you, and mark your calendars to join the following, which are listed in alphabetical order. There's been a great deal of coverage this year in the Globe about the projects, and so for the sake of time, I'm not going to list all, or give you details here, but there's really a variety of really wonderful projects. So I really encourage you to check this out and to come. And I think last year there were 5 projects. This year there's 10. So please join us. Thank you.
Next speaker is Steve Seaman, and then the following two are Annie Funk and then Ellen Lazar.
Hello.
Good morning.
My name's Steve Seaman. I live at 852P Ronda Mendoza. I was shocked to see a temporary notice about transportation a weekend before the change. I have a very active schedule, and I depend on the buses to get around. With these changes, they've combined, in my case, routes 6 and 5, 2 of the heaviest traveled routes, and I'm barely, before the change, able to meet a 9:30 appointment time because the buses don't get there until just shortly before 9:30 or after 9:30. So I'm trying to look at this map that you've changed, and I see that you've scheduled 2 of the heaviest areas, Route 5 and 6, to combine them to make Route 3. It's very convenient for people that aren't using transportation to make changes like this. But you've affected the lives of 6,000 passengers, I think it's a month or a year, I don't know what the number is, but I mean, we use this transportation. People that drive don't realize how important the transportation is to keep people active in the community. We should be invited to work out a feasible change if you're going to make one. But I look at the map, and I've lived here for 15 years. I can't find my location, and it says instead of picking me up at 8 after the hour, they're going to pick me up at 20 after the hour. And from what I can see, I don't know how we're going to be able to get to Clubhouse 1, the terminal center, to meet the transfer to another bus. I think whoever made these changes didn't consider talking to the traffic committee to let us put our input in to help you make this kind of decision. It is really going to be a detriment. Because the area in Route 5 is almost all requests. So when you make a request, you're adding time to the other route that has to pick them up, which is now going to be Route 3 is taking over for Route 6, which is a heavily trafficked area. And now you're going to add some requests from Route 5. I hope it works. I don't think it will. And I don't think you, or not you, but whoever made these changes, which they've been working on for a long time, because this is something that you could have made this dramatic of a change in a couple of days or even a week. So I don't know who to talk to. I work with the traffic committee. They're doing a great job, but apparently somebody's not listening to them or even conveying that they're going to make a change. We have only, I got the notice Friday afternoon. I'm supposed to know my plans for next week, how I'm going to make those changes. Anyway,
Thank you.
I'm upset. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seaman.
Next speaker is Annie Funk, and then the following two are Ellen Lazar and then Nawal Koja.
Is that the end of the list? Because we're pressing more than a half hour at this point.
We've got about 3 following Nawal Koja.
At some point, we're going to have to another 2 minutes. Can we cut to 2 minutes instead of 3? 2 minutes per. Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Annie Funk. I live at 663 Avenida Sevilla. Well, it's really Villa Los Altos, but they pick me up on Avenida Sevilla, so I don't have to do 16 stairs with my guide dog and my groceries. And with the requested stops, now that they're adding, I can't even use the phone and call. A lot of times it says leave a message. Well, I'll leave a message, and it's 2 hours before anybody will ever get back to me to see if I can have a ride. And now adding more requested stops, it's just not going to work. They, in the office or whoever, you're not a person, you're just a low number, and they don't even care. And last week, I was supposed to be picked up on Avenida Sevilla. The bus was on the other side of the street, told me to walk across Sevilla. I told them I would not walk across Sevilla. It's unsafe. So the bus driver got out, walked across, told me to come, and got on the bus that way. Well, there's some really safety and accidents to happen. And something has to be done with this transportation. And just letting us know last Friday that everything has changed is unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Ellen Lazar and then Nawal Koja.
Good morning, board members. I'm at 5220 in Gate 11. I agree with my previous speakers. You've addressed this issue before of trying to either combine us at one time with 10 and 11, and that was a wash. We've looked at reasons why financially it might be viable, but we're talking about safety, and a lot of my neighbors have moved here for safety reasons. Having an unmanned gate is ridiculous. What's to keep somebody from following somebody through the gate? And again, as mentioned, what happens when the gate goes down? Are we just supposed to wait outside until somebody comes? I've sat and waited for security sometimes a half an hour, 45 minutes, and that's in an emergency. So what happens when the gate goes down? If you hand out a code, does that mean you change the code on a weekly bi-monthly basis? When does the code get changed, or do you hand out a code permanently? And that means they can share it with anybody, and anybody can come in through that gate. So I hope that you look at this. Many of my neighbors are very upset with this coded system. We've had a couple of meetings, and it just isn't something that's going to work. It really won't. Thank you.
Noel Koja, and then the two following will be John Beckett and then Cynthia Smith.
Hi, good morning. I am Noel Koja. I live at 225Q, Mallorca. And I am coming here just for the gates, just like my friends before, because the Globe, the article saying we save money. But saving money by exposing resident safety and security, which should be your primary goal when we live here in this community. If you give code to each person, human being coming in, how would I know? Maybe that person is great, but his relative is a criminal. So we are exposing all these old people like us, which are very vulnerable. Anybody, now I sleep, sometimes I forget to lock the door. I am safe. Would I feel that when any Joe Bro can come with the code? And the code, I lived in a community that had code, but it was built in when the community was built. And then you had an intercom where outside the person can come and push and you have to put all the resident people on a big board. He pushed the button, you answer him from your home, and you open the gate for him. You don't give him a code. Giving code to Joe Bro is exposing our safety, I think, and which is the main thing. It will reduce the value of our properties because old people like us, safety is number one. I don't care about the park and everything. I care about my safety. And you cannot,
Speaker time is up.
I don't know where you are going to apply it to, but I don't think it's worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is John Beckett.
I'll try to do this in 2 minutes. I guess you all know why I'm here, so I'll skip that part. There are two well-respected agencies offering alternative dispute resolution services in California, JAMS and Judicate West. GRF's lawyer recommended hiring a retired judge from the JAMS agency to conduct a mediation to resolve our dispute. I asked the lawyer, will GRF agree to binding mediation? The lawyer suggested that I contact the JAMS office and ask whether they offer binding mediation services. I did contact the JAMS office. They have no interest in offering such services. I went to the Judicate West website. They offer an ADR service that is certain to resolve a dispute once and for all. Here's how they describe it. A hybrid of mediation and arbitration, MED-ARB, or MED-ARB, is designed for parties hoping to reach a mutually acceptable settlement, but who agree to be bound by the mediator's decision should they be unsuccessful in reaching a settlement. I sent GRF's lawyer a letter dated August 14th. Here's what it says. I offer to make a good faith effort to resolve our dispute in MED-ARB with a retired judge from the Judicate West agency serving as mediator. I agree to pay 1/2 of the mediator's fee. Thank you for considering my offer.
Thank you. We're now 45 minutes into our member comments. If you are speaking about something that's already been discussed, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to curtail at this point. If you have something that is totally new that has not been brought up before, we'll continue on for 2 more people. But if you are reiterating something that's been said before, sorry, but we need to move on. What's the situation, Michaela?
There's one member email I was going to read from Cynthia Smith, but it is regarding the gates, so
Okay.
I will not read
All
that.
right.
And then there's one in-person member comment from Tom Fairtish. I don't know what it was regarding, though.
Good morning. Yes, I'm at 5358 Algarobo. I was here a couple months ago and I addressed the board regarding the use of Clubhouse 6. It seems like we're still using COVID 5 years ago as an excuse to open this up. And we have used this in the past and it's worked out fine. You pay a small rental fee and you get it for 4 hours, and it's a beautiful place to have a party or some kind of a get-together. So, like I said, I addressed the board a couple months ago, haven't heard anything. Did you guys forget? So really, I have a couple other issues too. As far as the security, we spoke a little bit about that. And I live on the corner Calle Azul, which is a big hill. I've seen people speeding down this hill, going 50, 60 miles an hour. And I say to myself, where is our security? Because they're right there if you're trying to, make a quick stop, a California stop, and there's nobody around, but they're right there for that. So, I don't know, it just seems like, did we fire half of the staff? Where are these guys? Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Are there responses to our open forum speakers? Yes.
Do you want the General Services Director to address the bus route issue?
Yes, please.
Hello, my name is Jose Campos, and I'm the Director of General Services, and part of my responsibilities are talking about transportation. As we've been communicating with the board and with the community, we've run into some temporary staffing opportunities. We did have a couple of people go out last minute on leave, so we were left to react. As was mentioned before, we do have a couple of options in that we have a couple of people that have licenses that can certainly drive buses, but we thought it was going to be most appropriate, given that it is a temporary staffing situation that we have, to try to combine a couple of routes on a temporary basis. That, of course, was not easy, but we do have a lot of people there with a lot of expertise. So we've taken some of the routes 5 and 6, which are actually our lowest used routes, to combine those. And because there's so much going on with those, a couple of others were also impacted. I do have maps and those kinds of things to help with any questions. However, the goal here is to provide as little impact as possible, right? So the good news is that we believe that we'll be able to still service everyone. We're still going to keep all of our same destinations, which was important to us. It was also important to us to keep to our half-hour circuits. That way everyone can get back to Clubhouse 1 and make any other transfers. So those are the major things that we wanted to hit, is make sure that everyone was still being serviced. We wanted to make sure that the routes were going to stay to those 30-minute loops. That way transfers can happen. And we wanted to make sure that we didn't change any destinations. So we believe that, at least in the short term here, we can make all those things happen. We are staffed up in our offices to be able to take some of those requests. So news of people not answering the phone or anything, it took me a little bit by surprise. We do answer those phones. We do have someone on staff on hand all the time for those. I know that it's going to be a little bit of a learning and growing opportunity, so we're definitely watching this and continue to watch this, and we will be providing any and all results at our next mobility and vehicles meeting, which will be in November. But we appreciate everyone's patience with us as we work through our staffing situation.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Siobhan.
I just wanted to address very quickly the clubhouse 6 hours. The question was raised. We are currently open weekdays and weeknights. We're working to hire someone willing to work on weekends. That's the remaining piece that we need to open at Clubhouse 6. We know the importance, and we are definitely working on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to consent calendar. Yes.
There might be some directors that have.
Oh, are there any director comments back? Although we have the need to move on quickly. We have gotten official responses from Mr. Campos and from Siobhan, so I would like us to move on to consent calendar. Egon? All right.
Yeah, with respect to this, Mr. Brenner.
Microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. With respect to Gates, Mr. Brenner, if you want to share that information, your calculations, we'd be happy to receive them. For the rest of those people that talked about Gates, this is in the study phase only. Anything about codes and all the other stuff and the questions that none of this would be instituted until all those questions are answered. That's the only other thing, and I will make Chief Nunez aware of the Calle Azul speeding report. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Martin?
Regarding Siobhan's report, the Everbridge, the system is only as good as the information that you provide, that it's very important that you have good information about, your contact information, and then it's very important to have that correct information in it. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Consent calendar.
Yes.
All items. Oh, Marie, yes. Okay.
Gary, I wanted to ask you.
No, just the chair.
I'm sorry?
Address the chair, please.
Yes. Would you please ask Gary to refresh my memory and everybody's new memory about the last mobility meeting at which Robert Carroll was there? And we asked him suggestions about combining bus routes, and he gave something. I don't think it was 5 and 6. Was it 5 and 6? Okay, because at that time he explained to us, I didn't think it was 5 and 6. I thought it was some up in the middle. Anyway, that his opinion at that time was that it would only delay things a little bit because it wasn't. Now we're hearing that this is really heavily used, number 6. So the Mobility Committee will look at this again, right?
Yes, go ahead, Gary.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. Gary?
Yeah, as Jose has said that this is a temporary, we'll see how it goes and work from there. But you're right. You're wrong in the sense that both Robert and Jose, the first thing that has come up every time as far as doing any combinations has been routes 5 and 6. It seems of the staff's opinion is that that's the easiest two to combine.
Thank you. All matters. Item 10, consent calendar. Thank you all for coming. If you don't wish to remain through the rest of the meeting, now's a good point to exit because we'll be going through various administrative matters on the agenda. All matters listed on the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board in one motion. In the event an item is removed from consent calendar by members of the board, such items shall be the subject of further discussion and action. Do I have a motion to approve items on the consent calendar?
I so move.
Second, please. Okay. Any discussion? All right. Are you ready to approve the agenda as posted? All those in favor? All right. Consent calendar has been approved. Then the motion has been adopted. Moving on, we have no unfinished business. Our new business, 12A, we have under that a motion to authorize staff to release an RFP. Remember, we talked about RFP at the beginning for Clubhouse 2, yes, replastering projects. And we have a report from staff for that. Well, we have a report, but it's an RFP request.
You have to read the resolution.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to find, there's no resolution. There is no resolution.
I move that we accept staff's recommendation to put out the RFP.
All right, second. All right, discussion?
Yeah, 1 point.
Yes, go ahead.
So the RFP should include a cost estimate for doing an acid wash and then replastering rather than just the thing we've always done, which is just grind all the old stuff out and start over. So we should see cost estimate for both processes that handle pools, and we just have the man come in who will probably speak to that.
Thank you. Guy, good morning.
Good morning. If you wouldn't mind, if you could repeat, I was running down from upstairs. I apologize.
We're on pool plastering.
Okay, which pool?
Two together, actually.
Okay.
Yes, 2 and 6.
Yes, yes. So I'll go with 2 right now. We do have a motion or a request to entertain a motion to authorize staff to release this RFP for Clubhouse 2 replastering. There's been an allocation in the 2025 capital plan, and the pool was last plastered in 2014. It's over 10 years old. The type of plaster that was used at that time, the life expectancy is up to 10 years, so we're now a year over. It's showing a lot of signs of wear. It's pitting, so it definitely is a candidate for the replaster. When we were at the committee meeting, the M&C committee meeting, there was a request that we look at other options besides the standard plaster. So therefore, we did add that to the RFP. You'll see that. So there are going to be 2 options that we're going to look at outside of the standard plaster, which by all reports, extend the life. One extends from 10 to 15 years, and the other one has an extension from 15 to 20. So we're going to get some pricing on those options, and then we'll bring that back to you so that you can use it for your consideration. But we are asking that you allow us to go out with this RFP and advertise.
All right. Are we ready for the question then? Is there any further discussion or questions for Guy? All right. All those in favor of moving ahead with this request for proposal for Clubhouse 2?
I do have the voting screens on if you guys want to use directly in front of you. And then Brad, could you supply your vote, please? Thank you.
Okay. All right. The ayes have it, it looks like. Is everyone eligible? All right. All right.
And Andy?
Okay, one more. The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Thank you. Next, we have a motion to authorize staff to release a request for proposal for Clubhouse 6 replastering. And that is also similar to what has already been voted on. Do I have a motion to, Gary, you so moved?
Second.
Second, Manahar, discussion?
I have one question for
Go ahead.
You mentioned that the alternate services, as they're described here, the first one is the quartz aggregate, and that extends the life 10 to 15 years. Then you said the second, you said there was another that would extend it to 15 to 30
Correct.
years?
This
Is that the microglass?
That is
skin
correct.
microglass? Okay, I just want to make
So
sure.
that fills in the very
Understood.
small voids.
It just didn't have a notation about how much longer it would extend, so I just want to confirm your verbal remarks today that that was indeed the second. Thank you.
All right. All those in favor? I think we haven't voted on this, have we? All right. Okay, this is for Pool 6. Okay. We are voting to authorize staff to release, all right, there we go, RFP for Pool 6. All right, we have Fred. All right, we have 8 yeses, 2 noes. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have item number C, which is entertain a motion to authorize staff release request for proposal for pool chemical storage distribution project. And do I have a motion to accept staff's recommendation to do this?
I so move.
Second, please.
Right here.
Martin seconds. Thank you. Discussion? Guy, want to describe this a bit, please?
Sure. So I don't know if you can remember, but a couple years back, we did a pilot at Clubhouse 1 using the same scope of work. It worked out well. The two advantages here, and they're really good advantages to have, is number one, it's a safety item, so therefore the employee no longer has to handle the chemicals. And then number two, it's a cost savings measure. Once these tanks are in place, a bulk supplier will come out and fill these tanks up at a much better rate than going to a pool supply store and buying the chemicals in drums. So those are the two advantages of this. Staff highly recommends that this be done at the other pools, 2, 4, 5, and 6, for those reasons. Those are the primary reasons.
Any further discussion? All right. Yes, question, Martin?
Will the chemicals still require like some kind of PPE for the employees to have to disperse the chemicals, or is that more automated now?
So yeah, the pools will be fully automated. The only time that any employee will come in contact is when there's maintenance being done. So therefore, if they have to pull a pump apart, there's residual in but it's at that point, it's at the same water, the chemical levels at the same as what's in the pool. So there's really no harmful factor.
Okay, all right. In that case, are we ready for the question? All right. Please vote accordingly. All right, the motion has been adopted. The ayes have it. So please proceed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is item D. It is to entertain a motion to approve an amendment to the member disciplinary process. And this has been out on 28-day notice. Is going out, on 28-day notice for a member review and comments to comply with civil code. And Francis, hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So yes, thank you. So the item before you is 12D, entertain a motion to approve the amendment to the member disciplinary process. So this board adopted a member disciplinary process in October of 2004, It establishes the process that's to be followed by staff and the members for the purpose of holding disciplinary hearings in a timely manner and ensuring that progressive discipline is provided. The document was revised in 2023, mostly to update it and bring it to current practices and current format of the policy. It's being brought before you again today because in June of earlier this year, so a couple months ago, California Assembly Bill 130 was signed into law. It's a budget bill that aims to accelerate housing production. Unfortunately, the bill also included changes that significantly limit the association's ability to enforce the community rules. Some of the key limitations are that fines cannot exceed $100 unless the board makes a documented health and safety finding in an open meeting. AB 130 also does not define what a health and safety violation is. The AB 130 also prohibits any disciplinary action if a violation is cured. And then more specifically to this policy that's before you is that the AB 130 changed the disciplinary decision that is now required to be submitted to the member within 14 days of the hearing versus 15 days prior to the bill changing. So the document before you is the member disciplinary process, and the only change that we made was changing that requirement of sending the results letters to the member from 15 days to 14 days. So staff's recommending approval of the revised document.
All right, all right. And Egon, would you please read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution 90-25-XX, Member Disciplinary Process. Whereas the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation has an equal interest and duty under law to ensure that the management of communities' affairs carried out in adherence to the provisions of the Davis-Sterling Act, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. In September, initial notification. Should the board endorse the proposed resolution, staff recommends that the motion be made and seconded to accept the resolution and allow discussion to ensure the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the board. Staff then recommends that the board members postpones the resolution to the next available board meeting no less than 28 days from the postponement to comply with Civil Code 4360. I offer this resolution.
All right. And you
I'll second.
Second, okay. Discussion on this, Andy?
Yeah, I've never been on the Traffic Hearings Committee, so I don't know how it works exactly. But Francis, is this, it said, the way I'm reading it, that a member will go to the executive hearing. Is that in lieu of the traffic thing or after?
It's separate. It's two separate rules enforcement avenues, so to speak. So the traffic, your bylaws in California Civil Code allows that any violations associated with traffic are considered separate and don't fall under your member disciplinary process. So that's why those go through a traffic committee or a traffic committee composed from all three mutuals. The executive hearings committee that you currently have directly under GRF is to deal with all rules enforcement violations for the governing documents of GRF, separate from the traffic committee. So this policy, the member disciplinary process, is only for your rules violation. You have a whole separate system and a separate set of rules and regulations for traffic-related items.
So if a person runs a stop sign on a GRF street,
that goes through the traffic committee. So that's separate from your executive hearings committee.
okay, so I'm just wondering if it adds to the workload of the executive committee. Could it add? Will it add?
It won't. It's still going to be the same. What we're asking is that your documents conform to the new law. So in this case, for the member discipline process for your executive hearings committee, the process will still be the same. The only change in relation to this policy is that staff now has to make sure that the results or the determination that you take and the action that you take at your executive hearings committee is presented to the member within 14 days instead of 15 days.
Okay.
1 day's difference.
1 day's notice, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Kush?
Well, I'm trying to still get this information all together. Does this mean that if somebody runs a stop sign, he will still be affected by this information? Like your fine will go from 100 to 200?
That discussion or that train of thought will fall under your next agenda item, which is safety and health and safety violations findings.
Okay.
So I could elaborate when I present that item. I just don't want to confuse it with your member disciplinary process, which only deals with rules and violations of your governing documents not related to traffic.
So if you run a stop sign or speed over the 25-mile, this is not going to affect it?
No, because this one requires 14 days for your executive
It
hearings
was
committee.
just a matter of how many days?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Thank
Just
you.
a matter of number.
All right, are we ready for the question then? All right. Please vote on your screen.
Thank you, Brad. I have your vote.
Okay. The ayes have it. This
I
motion
think we're
is
just missing
adopted.
Gary's.
Gary? Yep.
Perfect,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, okay, thank you. Motion carries. Next, we have 12E, which is related to health and safety. And please give us a report on that. This is also going out for 28-day notification.
You have to read the resolution. Okay, so then for the health and safety, this one does include the traffic side of it. So again, like I was just stating in my previous presentation, on June 30th, California Assembly Bill 130 came into law. The key things regarding this policy that's before you is that fines cannot exceed $100 unless the board makes a documented health and safety finding at an open meeting. So in essence, that's what we're proposing at this meeting, that will stay for 28 days. So the health and safety component of the law allows the board to impose fines greater than $100 if the violation merits it. So for example, if someone does run the stoplight, but it was a regular traffic citation and it went up to the traffic hearing committee, then the fine would be imposed, but it would only be capped at $100 unless you find that the person, the member running the stop sign, created a health and safety violation, which is documented in the write-up of the resolution, which posed a potential harm or had a negative impact on the members. If it meets the criteria, then you could impose, the board it has the authority to impose anything greater than $100. So staff is proposing that the board approve this resolution, which documents the health and safety violations in open meeting. It gives the staff and the members, the community, a guideline on what items constitute a violation of health and safety, which means that the board has the potential to impose a fine that's greater than $100. Otherwise, it would be capped at $100.
Okay. Egon, would you read the resolution, please? The short version.
Right.
Okay.
Resolution 90-25-XX, health and safety violations, written findings. Whereas pursuant to California's Code Section 5850, bracket C, Fines levied after July 1, 2025 may not exceed $100 per violation unless the Golden Rain Foundation Board of Directors sole and reasonable discretion, the violation may result in an adverse health and safety impact on a common area or another member's property. And, okay, hold on. All right, we're not going to read all the definitions. So
If you want, you could just read the now, therefore be it resolved.
That's where I'm going. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. September initial notification. Should the board endorse the proposed resolution, staff recommends the motion be made and seconded to accept the resolution and allow discussion to ensure that the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the board. Staff then recommends that the board members postpones the resolution to the next available board meeting no less than 28 days from the postponement to comply with Civil Code 4360. I offer this resolution.
Is there a second? Okay, Martin seconds. Okay, further discussion? Ellen was first.
Okay. Hi, Francis. The hearings, traffic hearings, so if someone doesn't show up, when a ticket is issued, it says $100 on it. Am I right, on a traffic ticket?
It would, it depends on, let me backtrack a little bit. The traffic, your monetary penalties for traffic violations, you have its own standing document. So whatever ticket was associated with it has a accompanied amount. So it may be greater than $100.
I've not seen a ticket. Is it written on a ticket, the amount of the violation?
No, because the ticket itself is a form.
Okay.
Is a checkoff list that the officers have in the field. That document comes into the office, and the administrative coordinators will actually do a write-up and send it to the member with what the potential fine may be.
So they know what the fine is before they
Prior-
come into traffic hearing?
Correct.
Okay, so they could go
Oh,
pay.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
Oh, they could go pay the $100 and then, okay, unless they came to traffic hearing, and then they could possibly get a $200 fine, right?
So your schedule of traffic monetary penalties has a fixed amount. Has first offense, second offense, third offense. It's separate from your member disciplinary items that have a range. So for your traffic ticket, the citation gets issued. It comes to the administrative coordinators. They draft a letter that goes out to the member with what it is and what the potential violation is for the first offense or second or third offense. That amount gets presented to the traffic hearing members. And so if the member wishes to dispute, that's obviously the avenue. If the board members elect to impose that citation, that disciplinary action, then that amount gets imposed at that hearing. And then there's a follow-up
I'm
letter
talking
with the
about
results.
exceeding $100. So
The
now-
only-
now it's it was 200 for a
Yes.
stop sign. And if we consider it a health and safety, a safety issue, we could, in a hearing, in an open hearing, say, well, we want to impose 200, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, but only if you enact this open resolution. Otherwise, you're capped at $100.
Enact this resolution at the hearing?
No, now,
No.
going forward.
I
that's what
understand,
we're-
I understand.
That's
So
what we're
we could do
debating.
that, but the person that goes and pays the ticket will never have that increase. That, you understand? Because it has to be in an open hearing, correct? And traffic hearing is an open hearing, right?
No. Traffic hearings are to give the member an opportunity to be heard by the board.
So it has to be at the
change-
board level.
Well,
No.
it's the traffic hearings committee. So the board members are elected from, you're on a rotating schedule for United, Third, and GRF.
Right, I'm on there,
Yeah.
but my question is, I don't think that you understand. My
I don't
question
think I
is
follow.
that when the ticket is $100, but typically, if this is their second offense, third offense, it's still $100.
No.
But if,
No,
It graduates.
it's already
It
in
does.
the system.
Yeah.
Yes, it's already in the system. So that's why the follow-up letter happens from the administrative coordinators from security, because they will check the system and see whether it's this a first offense, second offense, or third offense
Okay.
to make the recommendation to the committee.
okay. And the
It should
public
be.
hearing is, if it's more than
No,
$100?
the hearing happens regardless of whether the member chooses to show up or not.
Okay.
So part of the process requires that once the officer issues the citation, the process means that it would be scheduled and calendared to come before your traffic committee.
Okay.
Because you're giving the opportunity to the member to then either dispute it or
Okay.
fall at the mercy.
And
of
the
committee.
traffic hearing is the public
Okay, we're done
meeting.
with
Yeah,
this.
that's all I wanted to know. The
Okay,
traffic
push.
hearing is the
Yes.
public
Push,
hearing.
you were
Yes,
next.
thank you. So I'm still trying to confirm that we are not going to change it from 100 to 200, even if we approve this.
So are we
Let-
talking about traffic citations? Or are we
traffic,
talking
traffic.
about member disciplinary process?
Traffic,
Okay.
whatever this thing is. Because this is health and safety, but health and safety has to be decided by the police or the security officer.
No, we're getting way off topic here.
We are working
Huh?
We're
sideways.
getting way off topic here.
I know.
So
So that's why,
you're trying to conflate and adjudicate individual situations when we're trying to deal with a high-level resolution that is required by AB 130.
Right.
So here we go. We have had
I
a
am
motion
trying
made
to-
and seconded. Now
I'm-
you're trying to understand the application in individual situations.
no, I'm
It's not
living in a
appropriate.
low-income adult community, as it is known.
So-
And
This policy, the policy that we're proposing before you is a finding so that you give the board members or committee members or whoever's in the traffic hearings or the executive hearings committee for member discipline process, the authority to impose fines that are greater for $100.
I understand.
If a member is in a need to request for a lesser fine or citation, then the member has that ability to make that request at your traffic hearings and at your executive hearings.
I understood. And what I'm trying to to impart to other people right now is that we may be short of money in different ways, but this is not the way to collect money.
And it's not a revenue.
Hang on.
No,
Item.
no,
Hang
this
on.
is not a revenue.
Hang on. I haven't finished. So I'm saying $100 is also a high price to pay for a 25-mile mistake that somebody makes, but to raise it to $200 for an event is rather higher. So I would not really agree to increase to that.
Can I?
This has gotten way off topic here. Steve was next, Martin's next.
We're not, this resolution only identifies that the board of directors can label certain violations by members as being health and safety issues, so the fine can be greater than $100, as prescribed in AB 130. We're not discussing any fines, any fees. They're already in place. They've been voted on, and they are a schedule. If you want to change the schedule of fees, it has to go through committee and come up and come back here. All this says is that the GRF board, in its reasonable discretion, determines creates a significant risk to physical well-being, safety, or health of individuals. The board can say this violation is health and safety and is not subject to the $100 limitation by AB 130. That's all this is.
Okay.
Martin?
Yeah, when I was reading this last night, I was getting ahead of myself like that. Well, what if? And we're getting ahead of ourselves right now. It'll all get better explained as we get into the monetary penalties schedule. Thank you. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. All right, Marie?
And I agree with Steve's analysis. And one, I would like to compliment the staff because this law was passed on the last day of June and it was effective the first day of July. And we had a meeting in which nobody knew. You know, laws are not really laws until after they go through the courts and, you know, they're like, start with it. So you have tried to determine what the law says in order to enable the board to sometimes have a fee that is over 100, because that is in the law. At first, everybody thought the law said no fines over 100. Doesn't say that. It says if the board does what we are asked to do in this resolution, and we meet and we decide these things are health and safety issues, okay? Then those are permitted to be over $100 if we so choose. Now, it also says that so far as the monies and the exact fines, those can be changed, amended, blah, 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 okay? But basically, we must come to a statement, and by this resolution, we can do so, as Steve pointed out, of saying this is what the GRF board finds as health and safety. Am I accurate in that analysis of what you've done?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you so much.
I call the question.
So I thank
Call the
Steve
question.
and Murray for explaining this.
All right. Let us vote.
I have nothing here, folks.
Now, he's got the Windows green screen. He's rebooted.
I'll vote yes.
All right. Vote is recorded. All right, the motion passes. And the ayes have it, and we will move on now to 12F, which is a related issue, and it's the monetary penalties to align with Assembly Bill 130. And here we are. There is a staff report. Francis, this is yours again.
So before you is the schedule of monetary penalties that is affected by AB 130. And now that you proceeded with electing to adopt a motion for health and safety violations, this document includes that vote. So the range still remains from $25 to $200, or $25, it got changed from $25 to $100, which is the main base. However, because you now passed the resolution, we also documented that anything that falls under that health and safety violation findings can also be increased to the $500 limit. So staff is recommending that the schedule of monetary penalties be approved with the amended changes to reflect AB 130.
Okay. Egon, would you read the resolution, please?
Resolution 90-25-XX, Schedule of Monetary Penalties. Whereas the Schedule of Monetary Penalties is required per civil code to identify violations and potential penalties which may be imposed on a member following a disciplinary hearing, the Board of Directors for violations of the governing documents and rules and regulations by co-occupants, guests, or lessee, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. September initial notification, should the board endorse the proposed resolution. Staff recommends that the motion be made and seconded and accept the resolution and allow discussion to ensure that the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the board staff, and then recommends that the board members postpones the resolution to the next available board meeting no less than 28 days from the postponement to comply with Civil Code 4360. I offer this resolution.
I second.
All right. Any further discussion on this? No. Andy?
Francis, illegal occupant, where is it on here? What category? I know you don't have to specifically, it's not mentioned specifically.
Oh, no, because illegal occupancy is done at the mutual level, at the housing level. So it would be under United or Third.
So they'll have to deal with that, okay?
Yes, and they both have, they have already approved a similar set of documents. They are already on 28 days, and it does include a whole section on illegal occupancy.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Any further? In that case, I'm ready for the question. We will proceed with voting.
Good grief.
Okay, motion is accepted, and we shall move on to put it into effect. Now, next item is 12G, a very quick one, I would hope. It's to review and recommend donation of 2 wood fiber bales to the archery room. And Egon, would you, there's no staff report, there is a staff report, but it's pretty formal. Okay, Allison is here. Is there any reason to have staff report read, or do we want to proceed right to the reading of the resolution? Proceed to reading of resolution?
Right.
Egon, 12G, please.
Resolution 90-25-XX, donation of 2 wood fiber bales for use in the archery room. Whereas Laguna Woods Archery Club would like to donate 2 wood fiber bales, bracket targets, as replacements for 2 damaged GRF provided foam targets in the clubhouse, and resolve further that the officers and agents of the corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I offer this resolution.
Second? All right, any discussion?
One
discussion?
One discussion.
All right.
Unless I missed it, my recollection is that in committee, the archery club said that they wanted to make the donation of these bales and that they would continue to provide the bales from the proceeds of their own club. I didn't see that in the report, or did I miss it?
Good morning. I don't remember hearing that at the meeting, but we will follow up with them and see if they want to continue. We do budget annually to do replacements also, so, but we will double check with them about the ongoing basis. This
Okay.
is just for the 2 wood bales that are being donated.
I remember when they came up to the podium, and it should be on Granicus, that they said, basically, not only are we prepared to make this donation this time, the club will take the responsibility of providing the bales in future.
Great. Yeah.
Thereby relieving GRF
We'd be happy to bring that
from the
back to you.
expense. But we can check Granicus?
Definitely.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay, are we ready to vote on this question? Please proceed. Okay.
I just need Cush's vote.
All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
And we will then move on to H. Entertain a motion to approve amendment to the Code of Ethics Policy for GRF Directors, Resolution 90-2142. And this goes into 28-day notification, please. Egon, would you read the resolution?
Just a minute.
Yeah, okay.
Trying to figure out what's coming across the board.
Yeah, 12H.
All right.
Mhm. Attachment 4, by the way, if you're fumbling through the papers, is the final on it. That's under discussion, and I think there's going to be an amendment.
It's a very short resolution. I'm going to read the whole thing.
Okay.
Resolution 90-25-XX, amend Code of Ethics Policy for GRF Directors. Whereas the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation has recognized the need to amend the Code of Ethics Policy for GRF Directors. Now therefore be it resolved, October 7th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the Code of Ethics for GRF Directors as attached to the official minutes of this meeting. Resolve further that the Resolution 90-21-42 adopted November 2, 2021 is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. September initial notification. Should the board endorse the proposed resolution, staff recommends that the motion be made and seconded to accept the resolution and to allow discussion to ensure that the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the board. Staff then recommends that a board member postpones the resolution to the next available board meeting no less than 28 days from the postponement to comply with Civil Code 4360. I offer this resolution.
Second, okay. Discussion? Steve?
We talked about this last month, I believe, in closed, was it? My recollection is we agreed that we wanted to put a period at the end of the sentence on page 15 of 18, 2 violations of policy, directors who violate the provisions, subject to discipline in accordance with GRF's governing documents, period. It's also my recollection that we wanted to remove all of the bullet points that followed thereafter, including the last sentence that says directors should consider resigning from the board. So I would like to amend this for that to be invoked, that we put a period at the end of the sentence and strike all the bullet points and the last sentence on page
15 of 18.
16?
Yes, 16. Mhm.
That's my amendment.
That's your amendment?
Can I have a second?
Oh, is there a second to the amendment?
Yeah, and I just want to let the board know, since this is on 28 days, when it's brought back again next month, we'll have the revised version of the
Okay.
policy, so it'll have those bullet points removed.
So is there a need for the amendment?
Yes, yeah, we'll have to have it marked down in the minutes.
Yes, okay. All right, discussion of the amendment. Does everyone understand? All right, Marie?
Yes, our board discovered in the handbook that if you will look up, you probably don't have one with you, but if you will look up the, it's not really the ethics rules, it's the violations. Okay, so if you will look up for United, it says that the violations will be dealt with by the Board of United. If you look up Third, it says they will be dealt with by the Board of Third. In the one in the handbook, which we are asking to delete, there's a handbook for this one, okay? And it went on to say that the someone other than the board would deal with those violations.
For GRF.
And that, right. So that's what this came about for. And so all of those delineations that come out dictating what the board will do are really not legal. Now, we looked in the governing documents and couldn't find anything that said this was okay, so we thought that was right. I want to compliment the staff in that we were unable to find that in 2021, the then existing GRF board voted something that says something like that. We couldn't find that. I want you to know that in the future, it's going to be much easier for the board to find what, like the date of a resolution, the subject of it, like violations, et cetera, okay? It's like, so in the future, we really are going to have a better system than that when we get all of our databases and everything in order, so that the board and anyone else under Davis Sterling can find what they're looking for by topic. So we thank the staff for finding that for us, and this comports with, not only did we discuss this matter, our board in closed session voted what I have distributed to you, which says why and what this is about. So all it is saying, yes, this will be disciplined by the board, okay?
Thank you. Any other comments?
There are 2 member comments, if that's okay.
Yes?
First one's Richard Rader.
Good morning. Dick Rader, 270D. I serve as an advisor in governing docs in United, and one of my guiding principles is this document has to exist for future boards. It has to give direction. You have to know what you're going to do in violations of policy. So my first question is, has this been approved or run by the GRF lawyer? Second question, is there another area in the guidebook which covers all the possibilities, the actions that the board can take? I think it's really important to provide that. And I will tell you that we have followed this policy in the past. It's never been questioned. And so I again urge you to talk to the lawyer about it. 1, 2, to find ways to give direction to future boards so they know exactly the procedures if somebody violates the policy. Thank you.
Next speaker is Nancy Carlson.
Thank you, Dick. You said effectively what I wanted to communicate as well. And I want to, this is almost a point of information, but I do think it's applicable to bring up at this point. Dick's an advisor. I'm an advisor at this point. I've been a director, so I kind of have an inside knowledge of what an advisor can and can't do, although I can't find anywhere it's written. When someone becomes an advisor, there should be some system. There's a confidentiality agreement, but it's 1 page. It's very simple. But it doesn't say, welcome. You're going to get a badge. You're going to be allowed to go to the 2nd floor. Here are the meetings you can attend. Here are the meetings you can attend. You need to have that incorporated there, and there should be a section, and I believe it should be in the Board of Directors handbook, because sometimes advisors become directors, and they should know that the people they're dealing with, here's the parameters of their scope of duty and responsibilities as a fiduciary. So I bring up that because I think it's timely. You are editing the book and updating it. I think it should be included, and no less than. There should probably be just a simple separate sheet of, welcome, and here are the things that you will be able to do, what you'll be asked to sign, so on and so forth. Those are my comments.
Thank you. Are you ready for the question? All right. Question is adoption of the ethics policy as amended.
Yes, so we'll have to vote for the amendment first,
All
and
right.
then we'll do a
Okay, we'll do
separate
the
one.
amendment
Thank you.
first. All right.
Can we get an answer to the questions I raised about the lawyer reviewing it?
Not at this time, Richard. Not at this time. All right. The amendment, do you have the reading, the wording of the amendment, Michaela?
It'll be, it doesn't reflect that in front of you, but it will be on internally updated.
Yeah, so to repeat, you wanted the
Right.
period at the end of the first sentence.
Correct.
Strike the bullet points and get rid of the last sentence.
Okay. Does everyone understand? In that case, I call the vote. All right, looks like we have,
Kush, we just need your vote.
I'm trying to hit it.
all right.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, motion carries, the amendment carries. Let's go back now to the main motion.
I did say yes.
Okay, you're there, yeah.
Yeah, it come there.
Let's go back to the main motion. We ready to vote on that? All right, called the main motion,
As amended.
as amended, thank you.
Marie, can I get your vote?
Marie? Vote? All right. Okay, motion carries, and please make sure that that language gets changed for the 28-day notification. Thank you very much, and thank you, Marie, for the great job that you did on that. Richard will follow up with your question privately, if that's okay. Sure. Thank you. All right, moving on to 12I. And time now is 11:21. We will move to very important financial issues. And this is first of all, under 12I, proposed defunding and reserves. We have a report from Steve.
Good morning, members of the board. So a quick explanation. So this is the standard request that we bring before the board to defund existing projects. Typically, it takes place in December after we've had time to review all of the existing projects. Half of this list are projects that have since completed, so there's no reason to keep the funding available. So we're closing up them with your approval. The second is a list of projects that are going to be postponed into the future period. So they'll be reevaluated and brought forth at a later time. But again, just a standard process that we do every year.
Okay. All right. Do you want to read the resolution, Egon? 12-9. You don't have to go through all the numbers.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just
Resolution 90-25-XX, proposed defunding at year end, whereas Resolution 90-18-43, 90-22-44, 90-23-49, and 90-24-48 adopted and approved the capital reserve expenditures of this corporation for the years 2019, 2023, 2024, and 2025. And whereas the department has reviewed the reserve expenditure reports and identified eligible items for funding reduced due to deferment, now therefore be it resolved September 2, 2025, that the Board of Directors of the Corporation hereby approves this resolution in accordance with the described reasoning. Resolved further, the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution as written. I offer this resolution.
I second.
Second, all right, discussion?
I have a question.
Okay.
Mr. Hormuth, in reviewing this, I was unable to find any mention of the EMS $390,000. I thought we had discussed removing that as well. Do I not see it here, or?
There was discussion earlier in the process, but this is just a summation of the list that staff came up with.
Yeah, that's a critical phrase in there. This has been reviewed by staff, and these are their recommendations. Any further discussion? Marie?
Yes. One, as you know, I am always thrilled to see you come and tell us, hey, let's don't spend this, right? But number two, the item about horse walker exerciser. and what you say about it over here.
Okay?
I would like to not refund that. I would like to buy that horse worker and get it out there and get it walking those horses. Here's the thing. We save money where we can, and we don't spend money where it's not needed, hopefully, okay? But I have been hearing that those horses, and especially the older ones, are needing the exercise. The description here says that what the 2024 budget had intended it for was because the one we have is rusty, old, blah, 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 blah. That may be why we're hearing complaints about not getting as much exercising on the horses. So I would like the board to consider not defunding the horse walker, but accept all the rest of this. Do I need to make an amendment or motion? Well, we can just discuss it, okay?
Yes, go ahead, Steve.
I think for the interest in time, that what we should do is move forward with this. If you want to bring that issue back up to re-engage the funding for the horse walker, you can bring it up at the next rec meeting.
I accept that view.
Thank you.
All right. All right, are we ready to call the vote? All right.
Brad, may I get your vote?
All right, looks like all right, still waiting. Okay, Brad, thank you. The ayes have it. Resolution, the motion has been adopted as written. Okay, and 12J, supplemental appropriation for replacement of 7 utility vehicles. Jose?
Thank you. So one of the things that we just got done doing in your previous motion is that you were rescinding a lot of the appropriations that were previously done. And as the board knows, for 2026, funding for vehicles was removed. However, what we did is we brought back the category of utility vehicle replacements. And when I'm saying utility vehicles, I'm talking about mules. So the little guys are $16,500 each. And so this time around, what we've done is we've given you a whole lot more information on these. We've ranked these. We brought back a vehicle parameter scoring system where we're taking a look at their age, we're taking a look at their utilization, we're taking a look at how much money we've put into them, how many times they've been down, those kinds of things, and rank them all. And we've done a lot of statistics on them and different things like that that we've discussed at length with in your mobility and vehicles. And we determined that there were a total of 9 items that need to be replaced. So this here resolution is an effort to get those 9 replaced. Funding for 2 of those vehicles was already concluded. In fact, one of those was already replaced. So now we're just looking for an additional funding of 7 vehicles. Again, it's all in your staff report, and we've talked about it both at the M&V and at Finance at detail. But happy to answer any questions that you may have on those.
Okay. Would you please read the resolution again?
Okay. Resolution 90-25-XX, supplemental appropriation for the replacement of utility vehicles. Whereas the Vehicle Replacement Department maintains a fleet of vehicles to support fleet services provided throughout the community, the General Services Department requires funding for additional 7 utility vehicles, which would need to be funded by supplemental appropriations of $115,500 from the equipment fund. And whereas now therefore be it resolved September 2, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the replacement of the utility vehicles be funded through the replacement appropriations of $115,000 from the equipment fund, and further resolved that the officers and agents of the corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move the resolution for discussion.
Second? Gary? Okay. Thank you. Discussion?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Shall I
Egan.
start? All right. There, so we understand that part of the reason that this came up is that there are a large number of vehicles, the number which is varied from time, report to report, but something in excess of 10 mules are standing or sitting up at the service yard and not being taken care of. This resolution suggests that there's an immediate need for 7 of these vehicles. However, this resolution would approve them for next year's budget, I assume. And so therefore, they must not be in immediate need. We have had nothing but problems with respect to getting accurate information on why we're having so much delay in getting vehicles fixed and how frequent they all are. We suggest that the all idled mule vehicles now sitting at the maintenance yard be moved to a appropriate Kawasaki service facility. We get bids on, we get estimates on what they would cost to fix these vehicles and get them back into service as quickly as possible. If that fails, if there's some reason that those people say they can't fix them, then we can still always come back to the supplemental appropriation. One of the things that we would get out of this, we would get feedback from an outside organization to tell us how these vehicles are being used. Is something generically wrong? Are they being serviced properly? We need to find out what's really wrong here instead of just getting this, please give me some money, I'll buy something, we'll break it, then please give me more money. You know, rinse and repeat. So that's my recommendation, is we fix our in-house equipment. Using outside services is quite common. I think you spend $400,000 sometimes on outside services every year, and therefore that's my recommendation on these requests for 7 vehicles. Thank you.
Is that a motion?
No, it's just part of the discussion.
For this.
Okay, Jose, you have a
Yeah, may I address that a little bit? So really what we have here, the issue that we're having is that we're keeping them longer than what is normally done. So it's not a matter that we have a lot of breakdowns, it's just that we have older vehicles here. On average, and you can look into that, I've tried to Google, or I try to do a lot of research as far as what's the useful life of these guys, and they all say somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 hours. And that's a really wide range if you think about it. I mean, 2003, that's a pretty wide range. I want to tell you that out of the 9s that we're looking at, the average that we're using is 3,200. We're already above the high end of it. So the issue and the reason that we're having such frequent breakdowns is that we're keeping them longer than is normally used. So we're doing all that we can to keep repairing them. But at some point, you know, a vehicle is so old and the parts are so difficult to find and those kinds of things. So that's what we're looking at here. So again, the effort of this report was to give you a lot more information so you can see for yourself how much downtime these guys are having.
Okay, Gary?
Jose, it's been a few weeks now since I was up there, but there were 13 of them slapped in front of your facility that were down. At least 3 of them were transmissions, and I think 3 more were
something called the
drive-driven routines, etc. If we don't sign off on giving you these vehicles at this time, what kind of a burden is that going to put on landscape and maintenance, etc.?
You have a really good staff, and we try to do as much as we can. We will do what we can to fix these vehicles. My concern is not can we fix them. Anything can be fixed, right? It's just a matter of how much money it's going to take to fix them. If we were to get into those items, we would replace transmissions and do those kinds of things, and you're looking at about a cost of $4,000 is our cost, by the way, much more if you actually did it at a facility. But the question would be, now you still have a vehicle that has 3,200, 3,500 hours. What's going to go next on it? We don't want to throw good money after bad. So what would we do? We would continue to fix them, but we run into staffing issues and we run into items still being fairly old.
Egon?
Yeah, thank you, Jose. I must say, you come up with nothing new. The point is, these detailed discussions should take place long before you come to us. The question before us is, do we give more money or not? And I suggest we're still better off. We will get you those vehicles back in service faster if we go and take them someplace. The board is willing to take, on behalf of the community, responsibility for that and to pay for that, as we all do with all other things. I think we will get much more for our money if we take a second approach to these few vehicles. Thank you.
Steve?
So I'd like to make a motion if I can. My motion
To the motion?
Well-
We have a motion on the floor.
to proceed with this?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just say this for discussion. As I look at the paperwork here, and it shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 vehicles, and it shows the annual repair cost and the frequencies. The repair costs are $900 to $2,500 for the cost of a repair. Jose has just said, a transmission is a $4,000 item, so that would be outside of the normal things that we have been doing. But I think it would be prudent to have staff repair what they feel they can repair quickly at the least cost, and then come back to us and give us a report on what they feel is not worthy of repair for replacement, and ask for the supplemental.
There is, in the staff report, page 7 of 14, the estimate of, or operating cost approximately of $36,000 to repair the vehicles. Are you proposing as an amendment, Steve and Egon, that we first exercise that before coming back for
No, because
full appropriation?
it'll take us forever to get that information, as it usually does, or they don't come back. I think we need
Okay,
to-
so that's not what you want to do.
No.
Okay, Martin?
I just want to ask the question, no amendment or anything, I just ask the question. Well, first of all, it looks like you got, what, 70 or 80 mules, something like that?
86, yes.
Yeah, and you need like up to like a 10% addition of replacement of those mules.
Right.
Can we negotiate here? If we can, instead of 7, give them 3 or 4 to help.
They're going to get 2 as is.
Excuse me?
They're going to get 2 as is. He said that there was really 9 that they're going to get, and they're going to get 2 already.
2 have been funded.
2 of them have been.
So
2 have been
He
funded.
wants
Out of the
7
9.
more.
Yes.
Okay, so, so give them 3 more.
We need to move forward with the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Either all or none,
They're
you're
not
saying.
going to get them till next year anyway, and if the Kawasaki dealer comes back and confirms what we've been told, that these things are practically unfixable until we have a grave to put them in, then we'll move forward with
I'm just
funding.
having more heartburn with the
No,
dozen
we-
vehicles
but
that are
would-
sitting.
We'd have to start a whole new process of,
Yeah.
yeah. We got one thing in front
Okay,
of
that's
us.
all I
We've
wanted to
got
ask.
one
you.
motion in front of us. So far, we have one motion in front of us. It's an up or down. Marie had something more for discussion?
I wanted to discuss, I wanted to have a discussion like he was having. Okay, I wanted to say that Egon has done a great deal of investigation, looking into options, and probably needs to do a little more. And I want to support Egon's position.
Okay. Gary?
Jose, how many of these vehicles do you think you could reasonably repair in the next month?
Probably
Tough question.
5, 4 or 5.
4 or 5? Okay.
Out of?
Out
Out of 9.
Out of the 9. but it would cost more money. Again, we can repair them. I just want to make sure to keep them repaired, right? I don't want anything else peeping up.
I'm saying reasonably.
Yeah.
I don't consider spending $4,000 on a transmission a reasonable fix.
Right.
So there's 3 with transmissions, there's 2 or 3 that are drive-driven issues.
Yeah.
What else? They can be fixed.
We have a couple of them that are overheating. We have they're idling too high, which causes problems with transmissions down the road. We have brake assemblies and drums and rotors and those kinds of things, radiators. I think we can fix probably 3 or 4 of them.
3 or 4, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I would support what Martin said.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Make a bargain.
Mm-hmm. All right. Gary, I'm sorry, Andy?
Yeah, so a no on the proposition means that we're sending it back for review.
No.
Is that correct? Well, no, I mean, if the dealer comes back and says it and verifies what Jose has said, then that's a different situation. So this will delay things a month. Is that right? Correct? Let's say the dealer comes back.
Gary, are we ready for the question?
There's nothing in the resolution that says anything about sending them anyplace else.
That's true.
It's an up or down vote
Correct.
on whether we buy these vehicles.
Now, yeah.
All right, so I think we're ready to call the vote. It's strictly an up or down vote on this. And the motion is that we...
There is a member comment.
All right. Is there another member comment? Okay, thank you, Richard.
I wasn't really clear on the potential effect that this could have on services. I heard that something like we'll make do or something. But can we get a clearer indication? Is it going to affect landscaping? Is it going to affect maintenance? I'm not sure. Are you? I haven't heard it clearly stated.
We've got to consider that, Dick. We've got to consider that these vehicles have been out of service for quite some time, so whatever effect is there is already there. So that's a non-question.
All right.
Non-answer.
Who is next? Gary, I'm sorry, Chris, you were next?
Yes, a quick sentence. Actually, we have a mixed feeling about all this. So if we say yes or no to the motion, we're not going to achieve what we are trying to do. So we're all mixed up rather than going in that correct
We're not
direction.
really.
Gary?
I move to amend the motion to take it from 7 vehicles to 4.
All right, is there a second to Gary's amendment?
I will second.
Manhar seconds, all right. Discussion? All right, ready to call the amendment vote? To reduce the purchase from 7 to 4? All those in favor? All right, sorry, are we posting this or raising hands?
Posting it.
Yes, you should be able to
All
have
right.
that.
Thank you, Gary.
And that's at $66,000 for 4.
Thank you, $66,000, all right.
Okay.
This is the
Thank you,
amendment.
Brad.
The amendment? Okay.
Is mine there? Did my vote go through?
Voted down.
So by
let
voting
me
no, you are
double
saying that you do not want to amend and move to 4 from 7. And
That's
I
right.
see 2, 3, 4, 5, and I see 5. We have a tie.
So Allison, you can vote if you want to break the tie. Do you want to let me know which way you
Yes,
vote?
I vote yes, that we move from 7 to 4.
Okay, thank you.
Now we move to the main question, which now is, I think the motion is moot because it's been amended. So we'll vote is that moot, is that correct? No,
So
okay.
what will be the new motion, the main motion?
To purchase 4?
Correct, that's what we voted on.
$66,000.
Brad, Director Reinhardt
Okay.
has a comment.
Okay, Brad?
Yes, thank you. This is a bigger issue than just whether we're going to buy 4 or 5 or 7
Correct.
vehicles.
Please speak
The
up a
reality
little,
is we need
Brad.
to stop buying vehicles. And I don't know how else to say that. I'm never going to approve another vehicle Because every time I walk up through that lot, 3/4 of the vehicles are parked up there. We have a giant maintenance facility. We either maintain the vehicles, or maybe we need to shut maintenance down and just buy all new vehicles every 3 years. But this amendment is ridiculous, and the request for more new vehicles is never ending, and it's not gonna stop until we say no and have them fixed.
Thank you. All right. Procedurally, what do we need to do, Michaela? Are we done with this now?
Yeah, since the first motion, I
Okay.
believe,
All right. All right,
is
thank
no
you.
longer
Question.
applicable.
What do we do with the vehicles sitting up there? Jose has said that in a month they can fix 5. Let's find out from somebody else what's going on. We only have to
It's been
get,
approved.
we can get
Been
cost
amended.
estimates before we approve work. But we need to find out if we can get stuff fixed faster. Brad was exactly right. This is a sewer and we need to get out of it. It has been for a very long time. So I still recommend as a separate issue that we take care of those vehicles, get them someplace, get them looked at, and let's find out what's really going on here.
Jose, you have a response?
I just want to make sure, have they voted on the motion
Yes,
yet?
right. So they need to, my apologies. So they need to, you guys need to make, do a vote for the original motion as amended. Because there was an amendment
Okay.
to change it from 7 to 4 vehicles. So now you guys need to vote for the
Okay.
original motion
Very-
as amended.
Okay, very good.
Thank
I
you.
call the vote then.
So what
On
is
the
the new
original
motion?
motion, the motion as amended would read that instead of 115,000, it is now 66,000.
Okay.
Call the vote. Do we all understand that? Call the
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Are we waiting for the thing?
Yes, I'm just updating it.
All right, please vote.
So what's the point?
Okay.
So we are contradicting ourselves.
Let's see, we have 5 to 5, and I guess I get to vote again, and I will vote no on this.
So just to remind you guys, this is the same one that you guys just,
No, well, it's the entirety of the motion now.
okay, so you guys approved the amendment and then we're voting?
Yes.
Okay.
So what does
So
this mean?
this means that we have now decided that we did not even want to consider a reduced program. That this one is out now completely, and we will rely on good management to come up with the alternatives and make sure that we have functioning vehicles and without a great deal of excess in use.
Do we have to give staff some specific direction on that?
I'm
so
sure
that they
M&V
know?
will do that in spades.
Okay.
We can count on that, I think.
Brad has his hand up.
All right, thank you. Yes, Brad?
Also, just want to point out to staff, if there's 7 that are broken. they
Little
didn't all
louder,
fix
Brad,
last
can't
week.
hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Better.
So if 7 are up there broken right now, they didn't all break last week. So the question of service levels, I mean, did all 5 of them break 2 weeks ago or a month ago or 6 weeks ago? Have they been accumulated over the last 6 months? I mean, that would also help be an indicator of what the service level is. Or do we just happen to have 10 extra vehicles and now we're at the point where we better start fixing or buying, or it will affect the service level? All that is an analysis that I would assume Jose has an excellent financial analysis background to be able to do a deeper dive into the fleet and really start making better decisions of what we make, what we buy, what we repair, whether we do it in-house, whether we do it out-house. We got a lot to look at there, and he inherited this issue. He didn't create it. But I think with his background in financial analysts, he is really a good person to be able to give us better information on what to do.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you, Brad. Thank you very much, all of you, for very cogent discussion on this issue. It's a huge cost center for us and one that deserves best professional attention we can give it. Now we're moving on to, I would say, the main act, which is the 2026 business plan. And Steve is here to read the staff report. I feel like this is an old friend at this point. It's been around a while.
It's a lengthy staff report, so if I may just read
yes, please.
A recommendation at least.
Yes.
Staff recommends the board approve the 2026 business plan and resolution. It's attachment 6. Obviously, there's been multiple meetings with regards to the business plan, and it's going to require a approval of 3 resolutions today.
Yes.
The first one's going to be your operating fund, effectively business plan. The second one is adopting the reserve study, and the third one is the capital plan. So the capital plan, which includes purchases of all of your equipment as well as your facilities as well. But I'll be here for questions, but if you would be interested in reading the resolutions.
Egan, would you read the resolution, the short version?
Just a moment, please.
12K.
Yeah. Just a moment. I just want to look at one thing.
Yeah.
Resolution 90-25-XX, 2026 Business Plan Resolution. Resolved 2 September 2025 that the business plan of this corporation for the year 2026 is hereby adopted and approved. And I'm going to jump on down to resolve further. Resolve further that this corporation shall charge each member the sum of $261.92 per month per membership of said corporation for its share of the aforesaid net expenses, reserve, and contingency fund contributions for the year 2026. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I offer this resolution.
Second? I think it was Gary who was second.
Discussion.
Okay, discussion. Steve?
First, on page 19, on the resolution itself, resolve further that pursuant to the said business plan, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby estimates that the sum of $48,820 will be required. I think we're missing 3
Yeah, a few
zeros after
zeros
that.
there, yeah, digits. Yeah, and then,
48
next line.
million, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is
That
that
should be
correct?
corrected. That should read $48,820,898.
898,
Okay,
thank you.
That number can be found on page 1 of 30 of that business plan.
All right.
Just for
Thank you.
accuracy. Then I had the question that we have tasked Mr. Hormuth to come up with additional sources of revenues and fees and whatever. And if we pass this budget and he then comes back and says, I'm going to recommend a $2 fee increase on this or a $5 increase on that, or whatever the case may be, that could have a substantial effect on the $261 as it stands now. So my question would be, if we pass this now and we invoke increases in fees or new fees or whatever based on your recommendations and our decision, that additional money for 2026 would basically go unspent because the budget has been done, and at the end of the year, then that accumulated excess, those funds would either be applied to the following year's budget or dispersed back to the members or put into reserves. Is that the way that works?
In a sense, yes.
Okay.
So consistent with every previous year, if you run a favorable variance, if you end up with net income at the end of the year, one of two things are going to be allowed. Either we give it back, it would be transferred over through a board recommendation, a board approval, to the contingency fund. And then ultimately in the 2027 plan, we would give that money back to the residents through a reduction in their assessments.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that because that was my question, that I know we're still in the midst of investigating revenue, and by
That
passing
is
this
correct.
budget, we're not putting a stop to those inquiries.
That is absolutely
Thank you.
right. That is, they're
Right.
still open. Ellen?
Why did we wait until the end of the year to assess for revenue increases?
For fees
For
increase-
fees
Fee
increases.
increases, you mean?
Correct. So we've spent months with a revenue generation committee trying to create new opportunities for revenue generation. So we will continue that process, and at the direction of the board, we'll continue that search for $1 million. But what we don't want to happen is to be overzealous and put it in the budget and end up with a loss next year.
Gary?
I'd like to remind the board that our 2027 budget is going to be a killer because of the fees that we're having to put in for internet and DirecTV. That amount, as best I have been able to gather, and it seems to have wandered a little bit, but that's going to be like a $53 hit. And at 261, 20% of that is $52, $53. That means everything else, employee raises, insurance, everything else has got to be zeroed to stay at or under that 20%. It's a good reason not to impose fees now. Impose them the first of the year, and then we can take credit for them on the 2027 budget. If you do it now, you're going to reduce the 261, which is going to reduce the amount that you can multiply by 20%. So in this case, we're better off, in my opinion.
Okay, Andy?
Point of clarification, when we talk about percentage increase for Davis Sterling, it's budget over budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Ellen?
Gary, I don't know what fees you're talking about, but I'm talking about fees like recreation fees. I'm talking for clubs.
Understood.
Okay, that doesn't have anything to do.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can
I would
talk
concur
about-
with what Director Durst was saying. Ultimately, what is being asked is if the $1 million were to be put into the 2026 plan, that would effectively reduce the contribution per man or per month that the residents would need to pay. So that would lower the threshold. So knowing that next year, when you're going to be implementing the rolling out the fiber optic, it's going to be a transfer. Right now you're paying out of two pockets, you're paying for your internet, you're paying your assessments. Next year you're combining it. So if you were to take $1 million out, lower the assessments, it's going to negatively impact the budget process for next year. So I highly encourage and stand by this current budget that it is not in here.
Iga?
The only comment I want to make is, despite the fact that we have worked very hard on this budget, much more detail than ever before, we haven't really put enough detail in. And we know that in general, maintenance and construction and some other departments come back to us for funding. I'd like to see us put a statement in front of all of these numbers in the blue book or green book, whatever color it's going to be next year, that says that this is an allocation for the purpose of finding out what our assessment will be, that these projects are not automatically approved for expenditure until you come back to us with detail. As long as you get that in there, I will be happy to support this.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion? Are we ready to call the vote on this then? All right.
Brad, can I get your vote? This is for the business plan.
Wow.
I think we need Cush's vote.
Did it work?
You gotta use this. Use this.
I did not. You can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, if that's easier.
Okay.
Use the mouse.
I'm trying, but I can't even see the mouse.
Here's yes, here's no.
I see that.
Okay. You gotta hit with the
Push it
mouse.
real hard.
Put the arrow over the mouse.
Okay.
Okay, we have it. Thank you.
All right. The ayes have it, but business plan final passes.
It doesn't work.
Moving on, reserve funding plan.
Okay. It's okay.
This is item 12K, reserves. And Steve, you also have some comments there.
Thank you. So consistent with previous years, Civil Code requires that on an annual basis, we present the board a 30-year plan. So as we've mentioned in the past, we went ahead and had a third-party provider do the reserve study, the results of which are presented to you in this report. It can be found on page 23 of 30. So as it stands right now, based upon the results of the plan, you have a 26 starting balance of a percent funding of 40%. So anything above a 30 is in a good territory, meaning it has a medium risk of special assessment. But based upon our conversations in the past, once again, you have $23 million in the bank for your current projects. And I think you are in a very good state. So 40% more or less matches staff's recommendation of where you ideally would be.
All right. Would you read the resolution, Egon? 12K.
Resolution 90-25-XX, 2026 Reserve Funding Plan. Whereas Civil Code 5570 requires specific reserve funding disclosure statements for associations, and whereas planned assessments and other contributions to replacement reserves must be projected to ensure the balances will be sufficient at each year, at the end of each year, to meet the association's obligations for repair and/or replacement of major components during the next 30 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved September 2, 2025, that pursuant to Civil Code 5570, the board hereby adopts the 30-year reserve funding plan attached, prepared by the reserve specialist for the fiscal year 2026. And resolve further that officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I offer this resolution.
Is there a second? Gary seconds, thank you. Discussion? Steve?
Mr. Hormuth, on page 27 of 30, on the reserve fund on investment income, it drops from this year from $1 million down to 450, basically a 50% reduction. So are you anticipating interest collections are only going to be about 2% or 2.5% as a normal rate for T-bills for the income level?
So there's some uncertainty with regards to T-bills coming up. So there's on the 17th of September, there's anticipated quarter point reduction. So not drastic changes, but we are anticipating some changes. So with that being said, there's also potential spending with regards to supplemental appropriations that we're also anticipating. So we intentionally lowered that income, so to reflect that.
Okay, thank you.
Others? Comments? Andy?
Hi, Steve. Implicit in the reserve number is a CapEx plan. So we're kind of cart before the horse in a way. Don't we need to approve the CapEx before we can approve the reserve?
Historically, we've always done it in this order, so we can
Okay,
reconsider it
just-
for the future.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that the reserve number is based on a couple things, and I'll ask a second question. The one thing it's based on is the CapEx, which is the next resolution, and that includes the defunding and all the work we did on adjusting CapEx.
Correct.
Okay. The second element is the funding mechanism. We're talking about an assessment here, but what about the resale fee? What's the assumption on the resale fee?
The assumption for the resale fee is that we are charging $10,000 per sale with the standard exceptions that are already currently in place, and a unit sale of quantity anyways is 627. So effectively $6.3 million.
All
So-
averages,
Yeah.
average, yeah.
Correct. So I also would add in that with regards to the cart before the horse, so they're all tied to the same numbers, so anything that you would approve would effectively roll together.
Gary?
So
Oh, I'm sorry.
implicit is the $10,000 times how many resales?
627.
Which is down, I think we had 660 before, so we're anticipating a slower year.
Correct.
So that's conservative, that's good. Okay. Times $10,000. Currently, it's $7,500 with the same kind of exceptions. It's possible that resale number will be changed in the future, the policy on it, but right now, our policy is $7,500, so do we have to vote on raising it to $10,000 first?
Yeah. Well, at some point.
So absolutely, but there's plenty of assumptions within this budget.
Okay.
So including other fees of nature, right? So we set a target here in the budget, and then when we bring forward to you from a fee perspective, it'll either be above the budget, below the budget, or land the plane
Okay,
exactly
so
as planned.
we're voting on it with the assumptions we talked about. Fine, thank you.
Gary?
Talking about assumptions. Going to the same page that Steve sent you to, 27. I note that for 2027, it shows planned expenditures of 16 million plus. 2026, we're going to spend about 12, and of that, 9,600 of that is going to broadband.
Yeah, 9 million, correct.
Where in the world are we going to come up with $16 million worth of expenditures? We need that detailed reserve study that shows us what is in there. That number seems outrageous to me.
Okay, let's, I don't mean to jump you here, but we're looking at 26 right now.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
But this is going to go out to the corporate world, okay? And they're going to say at the end of that year, our balance is going to be quite low. And I don't believe that. And we need to see that reserve study to see what they have got in there for expenditures in 27, so we don't have the world go nuts on us.
Steve?
So it's consistent with what we presented in the past. So this is supported by all the details, and I would remind the board that we have reduced significant funding in the 2026 plan with the expectation that all that work needs to be done. So it's pushed out into the future years, hence why you would see those larger numbers. But again, it's consistent with what was already included in the previous plans.
This is not new news?
This is not new news.
Okay. Other question, Andy? You had something more?
Yeah, Steve, page 26 of 30. The second column on that is called fully funded balance. And in 2026, it's 43 million. Is that per the latest study, or is that an old number?
So the dollar amounts, so everything in here is part of the new study, correct? So again, you're looking at page 26 of 30, that $43 million is based upon their on-site reserve study. where they
Okay, and
walk
then
the
comparable to that, we go to page 27, and we look at the total at the end of '26 will be 22.722 million.
My apologies. Repeat that one more time.
Yeah, on the very total column, at the very last ending balance, I'm showing the end of '26 would be 22.7 million.
Correct.
So if you wanted to know reserve coverage, we take that number and divide it into the 43 million.
So the number that you're referring to on page 27 is a combination of two funds, the reserve fund and the contingency fund as it's listed. So you would only be focusing on the one number, which is the $21 million.
The earlier one, the reserve 21, okay, so it would be
Correct.
21,506 over 43,234?
So no. Thank you for this question. So you have two funds with regards to your CapEx. You have your facilities and you have your equipment. So the equipment fund can be found on page 25 of 30, whereas the facilities can be found on page 26.
Let's add them together, I got
So
it.
we've added them together on page 23.
So we're talking 59 million, okay.
Correct. So in total, you're looking at $58.9 million. And then your starting balance at the end of the 2026 is going to be the $21 million.
So it's 21.5 over 58 mil, and that
Correct.
percentage is?
40%.
So it's not 30, it's above 30.
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, 40%
That's
is
a very
staff's
important
target.
number to disclose to the membership.
Correct.
So I hope we can do that some way in one of our, that reserve coverage is 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's down, it was higher, but again, 30 prudency.
Correct. 40% is exactly where staff would recommend you be on a go-forward
Yeah,
basis.
because we do repairs ongoing. It doesn't have to be 100%. It's 30% is based on ongoing maintenance.
Correct. And 30% is the industry standard, and that dictates a reasonable reserve for an association with 100 banners, all the way up to a sizable organization
Yeah.
such as
Now, that
yours.
being said, 27 is going to be lower.
Potentially, correct.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get to that plan next year. when
Next
we begin
year,
our
I
plan.
got it, okay.
Okay, Martin? Thank you, Andy.
On the same page there, Steve, we have the broadband, we fully funded even the contingency, $1.5 million. If we don't spend the contingency, do you think that'll get us out of the red for the 27?
So in the future years, again, it's all going to be where you're seeing the red, which is on page 26.
26, yeah.
It's a difference between the funds, right? So you only have, Civil Code requires you to have one reserve fund, and then it's up to the board's determination to how to allocate those funds within a sub-fund. Your equipment, your facilities, your trust facilities, those are your sub-funds. So even if you had, I'm exaggerating, a 5% reserve in one reserve fund and a 95% in another fund, those percentages aren't really relevant because the board can initiate transfers back and forth.
Right.
It only matters as the total. So again, I respect the fact that you're seeing red on page 26,
Right.
but overall, you're sitting really well at 40% this year, 39% next year, 30. You never dip below 30. So you're in a
That's the
favorable
key.
position.
Yeah.
Correct. That's the key. And again, at the end of, during each year, we come up with new recommendations. So whatever the board chooses from a funding perspective will indicate how we do on a go-forward basis. Excuse me. So this is a 30-year plan. It's required by Civil Code to tell you how you should anticipate your funding proceeding. You guys are in a very strong financial position right now. So, and I would assume that every single year we're going to come back with the same approach and hopefully have similar results.
Yeah, I know that I'm being told that the team can do the coax remediation with the existing contractual funds that will start, that'll happen like in January of '27. But I mean, if we don't have to touch the contingencies of that huge number, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, are you ready for the question? Or one more, Andy?
I just want to, this is a point of information, and that is, because we are comparable to the housing mutuals. Now, Third Mutual's assessment is up 5%. United, I believe, is 7-something, and we're 10%. I just wanted to clarify, The 10% is actually made up of two things. Originally, version 1 of the plan started out with almost a 14% increase. So we did cut things. However, 4 items in the budget I'm calling, and I think I can defend that, they're non-controllable. For example, $500,000 because the broadband, we lost some revenue. Insurance went up because they were hitting vehicles this year, and we've got a lot of vehicles. Janitorial contract went up, and that's a contractual issue. And then we also had,
Union contract.
pardon?
The union contract.
The union contract's 4%.
Right.
The 4 items, electricity, that's the final one. We don't really control electricity in the short run. So if you exclude those non-controllable items, our increase budget over budget for controllable items, 0.
Correct.
When you net the two together, you get 10%. So the 10% is higher than the other 2, the housing mutuals, but I think we did a pretty good job. Thank you.
Nothing to apologize for. Ian?
We spoke to the reserve specialist, and one of the things that came out is that those numbers that are in the green book, that from years of life, blah, 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 those things need revision. We need to look at that, and we're going to do that, and that's going to impact how we look at reserves. So that being said, there's something that really needs to be done. Secondly, let's not throw away the word special assessment so cavalierly. We're not going to do a special assessment to pad an account. Right. We're going to do a special assessment when we really got our backs up against the wall, right, because we have an A+++ credit rating, and with 12,000 people backing it by contract. So let's not get panicky. We're in good shape. Let's move forward. Thank you.
Are we ready for the question now? Okay. Let's vote. Okay, we have all votes in, and the ayes have it. This motion is approved. And we moved on now to number 12L, Capital Reserve Expenditure Plan, the final. And details. Steve?
Sure. Staff recommends the board approve resolution for the 2026 capital reserve expenditure. In summary, what you have before you, as we've discussed many times, is a request for $12.2 million to be spent on your facilities as well as your equipment. If you would turn to page 7 of 10, there is a table with a detailed breakdown. In a quick summary, you're planning on spending $526,800 on your equipment, and your facilities is $11,714,750. So once again, combining to a total of $12,241,550.
Okay, Egan, would you read the resolution, please?
Okay.
There is the short one.
Yes. Resolution 90-25-XX, 2026 Capital Reserve Expenditures Plan. Resolved September 2, 2025, that the Capital Reserve Expenditure Plan of this corporation for the year 2026 is hereby adopted and approved. Resolved further that pursuant to said business plan, the sum of $12,241,550 is hereby authorized to be expended in 2026 for the purposes provided herein, of which $526,800 is designated from the equipment fund and $11,714,750 from the facilities fund. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I offer the resolution.
Second? Martin, all right, discussion? Martin?
I like the total amount, but a couple of line items in here, have, on page 7 of 10, the bunker renovation. We needed to add 80 grand to that to get one of the 9-hole courses done in 26. I want to take that 80 grand from that line item that says consultant of water management. I thought we had talked about that we were just going to do training for, with the water management system on our existing foreman for the irrigation. So 80 grand of that, we need water management or irrigation software training for our foremen and supervisors. $20,000. Put the $80,000 in the bunker renovation. That's what I wanted to bring up. So, but I'm happy with the total amount.
Steve, you had a hand up?
Yes. I pretty much agree with Martin. My line item concern is $122,000 for cardio fitness equipment. Just one of those things that makes me go, really?
Okay.
So,
Which equipment?
Cardio.
$122,000.
Okay, Ellen, next.
Okay, got it.
I never liked the gate automation. And I think Egon said that this would be for gate 4, which is an exit only, so I don't know how this would be a pilot program.
Steve?
So, no, I was just raising my hand. I wasn't saying a
Oh,
gate.
okay.
So
My recommendation would be, so this is, at this stage in the game, we've been meeting since January to discuss all these items. So this is part of the 2026 business plan. So it is only September 2nd. So what we need today is the approval. So ultimately, that way we can get this approval, but this budget approved. That way we can meet the timeline that's required by the state of California. We can also prepare the green book. That being said, I respect any interest that you guys have with regards to a change. What that would require is at a committee level, we bring forward a supplemental appropriation. The terminology is strange, but if you want to take the bunkers and make a change in that dollar amount, if you want to reduce other areas, you can do it at the committee level. That way, those who have the relevant information can speak on behalf of that offering, and then changes can be made on a go-forward basis. Again, if you have $12.2 million to be spent in 2026, but the board wants to spend $11 million, that can still be done. But effectively, we need approval today.
But all of this will go into the green book.
That is correct.
See, that's where I have an objection to, so thank you.
And especially for this item, that is what that statement is for. This is only for approval for budgetary purposes.
Correct.
Before approval to spend the money, you will come back to us. I can see we have so much uncertainty of what's going on with the gym equipment. The cardio fitness thing is certainly on hold until we speak it again. But in general, I will support the rest of it because there's more than enough money in here to get everything done, and we'll probably have some left over. Thank you.
It sounds like we're ready to call the vote on this.
I apologize. There is a member comment via email. Is that okay if I quickly read it? It's
Go ahead.
about 2 paragraphs, so it's pretty short. From Teresa Kennedy, and they stated, in regard to the customary maintenance of the tennis courts, repairs and resurfacing are on a 5-year schedule. This was projected for 2026. However, I noticed that it was removed from next year's capital plan. The obvious question is, when will this necessary repair and restoration take place? I hope you're considering that the longer those repairs go without scheduled maintenance, the costlier the process will be down the road as a consequence of additional wear and tear from player use and Mother Nature. Staying on the subject of the 2026 capital plan, I noticed a rather costly purchase proposal for security personnel, body armor. Why does this capital expense suddenly appear? Have there been documented incidents in Laguna Woods Village that warrant this unanticipated and unusual expense? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Are we ready for the question? Yep. Okay, let's vote.
just need Manahar's and Cush's vote. Perfect, thank you.
Okay. All right, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted, and thank you very, very much, Steve, and your staff for heroic work, and thank you all on the board who put in so many volunteer hours in analytics and debate and discussion and research. This is the most well-considered budget, I've got to think, in recent years. There's nothing to apologize about in this budget. It's a strong budget. We were given terrifically challenging tasks to take on, and you've done it. So thank you all. And at this point, because we amended the agenda for this meeting earlier, we're not going to do committee reports. Instead, we are going to move to close out, to close session. And let's see, if we have any member, let's see, future agenda items. Item 15, we have member disciplinary process, health and safety. We have a couple items that went on 28-day notice that will be coming back to visit us in October, and discussion of solar. Of course, we have other important meetings that are coming up in the next 2 weeks that will influence future agenda items. Director comments at this point? Andy?
On the, Allison, on the future agenda, we just talked about the resale fee. And if we want to get that resale fee, for argument's sake, effective January 1st,
Yeah, it's got to be,
will the
yeah.
process require us to hit it next month?
Yes, well, enclosed and then.
Enclosed, I
and
got
then
it,
in
okay.
finance committee and so on. Yeah, these are all of these fees that will take place, that will hit on the 1st of January, have to now be dealt with in this final
So it'll
period
come
of
up
the
through
year.
the committees and then to the full board by year
Yes.
end?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Any member comments? If I don't see any, we're going to recess at this time. And I would suggest that we resume into our close. Remember, I sent you a notice this morning that we need to discuss some really private business. So starting at, let's say, 10 minutes to 1 upstairs, we will close.
May I let staff know to join maybe 1 o'clock, 1:15?
No, this will not be staff. This will be without staff.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but following that, should I, because I do usually let staff and legal counsel know what time to join.
1:30? Let's head for 1:30. Okay. Let's be optimistic. Okay, thank you all. We are on recess.
Thank goodness.